Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the privacy edition, followed up with just a tad of security toward the end. And these are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to come on and catch the show live in all of the madness and engaging in the comments, that would be epic. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump in. We have a couple of updates. Update number one, Google resumes updating with its major iPhone and iPad apps, starting with YouTube. Now, I checked out about 15 different articles, and I was not able to find the nutrition privacy nutrition, whatever Apple's calling these things. You'd think, okay, this is a big deal. We got our first updated app. Would somebody please show me the things that Google is asking for? Maybe some of you guys out watching can tell me where to find this, because I looked all over. It's like, yay, we now have the updated apps that will tell us what permissions it's seeking. And nobody's telling me this. This is what is wrong with modern day journalism. This is why we really can't trust anything out there except maybe some guy who was in the ground, on the ground actually watching stuff. But they finally issued an update for YouTube with the generic fixed bugs, improved performance, and drank way too much coffee. This is a huge criticism I have and why I rarely update apps. I mean, mostly I don't use them. But the point is, if you're going to go through and force an update on me, tell me everything that changed. This type of stuff is why I just nuked apps and just don't use apps on my phone. I don't need to see fixed bugs, improved performance, and drank too much coffee. What are you, 2 years old? Grow up. Grow up. Tell us what you're doing differently. Tell me why I need to install this thing. Say, hey, there was a hack in here that allowed some Chinese dude to take over your phone if you watched a certain TikTok video. Better update to prevent that. Hey, I'm all over it. But performance enhancements, and then nobody's giving me access to this. What in the world is going on in our world? So there we have our update. Too bad I can't show you the nutrition card, what the YouTube app is looking for. And for everybody that keeps on sending me emails and comments, good on Odyssey. No, I jumped for that dumpster fire, guys. I know you may not have followed my channel for that long, but about last year, about this time, I tried out Odyssey. It was a library at the time, and it is a dumpster fire. I'm sure it might have gotten better, and maybe in about 6 months I will investigate it again, but you can search on my channel for my library video, why I left. I'm not jumping onto library. As of right now, you can catch my videos also on Rumble and on BitChute, both at switchedtolinux, and I will look into some other platforms. The privacy guys I've been chatting with, we've been having a lot of background conversations lately, and they're like, check out PeerTube, so I think I'll probably check that one out soon too. But no, I'm not going to jump on Odyssey or Library again anytime soon. Eventually I might reinvestigate it, see if they fixed the problems and concerns I had before. But if you don't like the YouTube, I am also on BitChute and on Rumble. You can check out the videos over there. Rumble videos get posted the exact same time as YouTube. BitChute sometimes are a couple days behind. Anyway, back to the news. 66% of the 15 mobile apps come from Facebook and Google. This is why there's a big concern about the monopolies inside the app market and things like that. So tech giants tightening up their grip on the app market. You can see in 2005, 33% owned by Google, 20% owned by Facebook, and then 47%. And then those numbers are creeping out. It looks more like Facebook's just, they just haven't acquired anything for a while. Like, guys, we need to increase the number of popular apps. We got to find something else to buy. I mean, let's look at these other 34% and see what we can buy to move and shift our numbers. But Google just keeps on building and building and building new things. So there we have it, guys. We have it. And so they looked at the top 15 apps in the US as of this month are YouTube, Facebook, Gmail, Google Maps, Google Search, Facebook Messenger, Amazon, Weather Channel, Google Play, Instagram, Apple News, Google Drive, Google Photos, Pandora, and Spotify. And so for sure, a lot of those are Google and Facebook apps. And why are those there? Well, sometimes there are not a lot of other alternatives. In the Android world, particularly the open source Android world, there's very few good map applications. I use OSM and it really sucks. But I don't use my phone for navigation either. If you need your phone for navigation, invest yourself in a $100 car GPS. It costs about 1/10 of the percent of the cost of most of your phones anyway, and it's infinitely better, and that's what it's designed for. So there you go. If you go off into the middle of the woods somewhere, you don't lose your data connection, your phone says, I haven't a clue where the hell I am. And so make sure you're getting car GPSs rather than relying on that crap. So more Facebook stuff. After the failure of the Facebook phone, get ready for the Facebook Watch. This was like the only worthy smart news article, so I threw it into privacy because it's Facebook. And now they want to know every biometric thing about your body. People, do not use the Facebook Watch. Don't get it. If you see one in wild, rip it off somebody's hand and destroy it. No, don't do that. You'll get in trouble for doing that. But the point is, don't get this thing. They're wanting to compete with Apple and Fitbit / Google. And they're looking at all this data. Here, I guess here's some watch data here. And I guess Apple makes up 51% of the market. That's weird. We have Garmin's, we have Huawei's, Samsung, whatever that thing is. Amazfit. Is that an Amazon thing? I've not heard of that one. We have Fitbit, we have Fossil, and I'm not sure what this 11% is here. Maybe that's other. And so they're like, hey, let's just carve ourselves a little chunk out here and just collect everybody's biometric data and just supplement all of the evil stuff that we're already doing with Facebook data, attaching your complete biometrics to everything else that we do, because that's crazy. Guys, Facebook is the one uncompromising company. Like, I'll do some things with Google. I'll do some things with Microsoft. Unfortunately, Facebook, nope, hard no, nope. Kind of harmful sometimes. Facebook is still big in the author and writing communities I'm part of. I know somebody I was asked to do a blog post in the writing circles I'm in for one of our organizations. They're like, I haven't seen you on the Facebook page. I'm like, yeah, uncompromisingly, I will not be on your Facebook page. And I don't encourage you to be on there either. All right. This one was a big one today, this week. Browser favicons can be used as undeletable super cookies to track you online. Now, I'm not sure about, let's go ahead and talk about how this works. I kind of had to stare at this for a while, and actually I downloaded this research paper to read that to figure out what's going on. So what the theory is, this would be hard to do, and no small site's going to do this, but a large site might. What they're going to do is, when you go and visit a site, you got your little favicon, the cute little icon that tells you what it is. Well, those are actually stored in a different cache location as other things on your browser. You can force refresh the browser and get the favicon back, but this method here, it utilizes a series of folders, and in all the documentation is like there's 4. I'm like, how does this work? Well, if you automate this and into releasing a favicon that's a digital code from a database, you can literally put hundreds of thousands of these on a site. And then what you do is you can measure the time and the way that a favicon is downloaded by first checking the first directory, and if it's there, it goes to the next, and then goes to the next, and then it will do basically it'll build an algorithm of what your download and browser data looks like, and it's able then to track you around the internet. There is actually a way around it. It's not deleting your cache, but your browsers store all those favicons in an SQL file or in some other separate it's called the F cache. If you actually have a good means, and here on Linux, you could set a cron job to clear that F cache every 15 minutes. You will be invisible with this here. So these guys are, it's this undetectable invisible thing. No, you just need to clear that the F cache, which is not something that clearing the regular browser cache does, but you can actually do it. If you clear that out, you will always look like a first-time visitor, and they will not be able to track you around the internet. But nevertheless, it is an interesting technique that is a little bit more complicated, and hopefully the big browsers, like all 2 of them that are left, will actually go back and say, yeah, let's go and change how the Fcache works to mitigate for this type of thing. But being as that Google controls this and they want to collect data, I'm not exactly holding my breath. And Firefox will be like, that's racist to do that, because that's how woke Fox goes. And so there we have it. We're all screwed. So maybe we'll go ahead and look at how to write a cron job to clear that F cache out on a regular basis. There we go, guys. And the next article, former FBI officials are being tapped for Amazon's growing security apparatus. This doesn't surprise me all that much. Big business oftentimes does hire ex-FBI, ex-CIA, ex-whatever for security professionals and things like that. The difference here is that they're not actually hiring these guys to be like security guards or advanced security. They're hiring them as part of security product divisions. So heuristically analyzing data and a lot of other things like this. That's the type of stuff that they're looking at doing. And so this article here from The Intercept, it's just kind of going through and talking about how Amazon was hiring people. Then they put out some job calls looking for such things and stuff like that. And then what ended up happening from there is they went ahead and hid some of those and then started bringing in more FBI agents. And they said by the bottom, they end up having, quite a number of FBI guys. Not a whole lot significant. The biggest concern here is the fact that they're not hiring these as security. They're actually hiring FBI agents as a means to, they're hiring the FBI agents as a means to do products like the Ring and other stuff like that that has connections to law enforcement. That's where that kind of ties into privacy. And speaking of the FBI, onto our feature story today from Forbes. Can the FBI hack into private signal messages on a locked iPhone? The evidence indicates yes. So this isn't like they have some back door into Signal and they can grab your messages out of the air. This dates back to a case where a guy they were involved in drugs and guns and stuff like that. And inside of these court documents, we actually had some messages from Signal. And you can see here that the source is the extraction, and there's the encrypted files. And they basically said that they got these encrypted files off of what they called a partial AFU. So this is AFU on the iPhone is after first use. So your phone has, to my understanding, 4 states to it, and I'm not going to be able to tell you what all those states are, but there's a BFU before first use, there's an AFU after first use, and then there's 2 other conditions about how long the screen has been turned off and other factors like that. And so the partial AFU, the security research is going, I have no idea what they're talking about. I think what partial AFU means in this case is they were able to grab a partial data dump of the data off the phone. So this means that they had the phone involved in a crime. It had already been unlocked with a pass key, but the screen was turned off. So they were able to extract some data. Now, the more concerning thing is that they were able to decrypt these messages. That is where the potential of the Signal FBI backdoor might be at. And that is certainly a concerning thing to think about, that all they had to do is grab this blob off of the phone and then they were able to decrypt these. The question is how? If Signal's encryption is so good, the FBI could have extracted the data and said, we can't read what's going on here because we don't have the encryption key. So maybe there is indeed a connection with Signal and the FBI to decrypt the messages. The point is they were able to get the data off of the phone because it had previously been unlocked with a passcode. If on the new iPhones, and Android had one of these modes as well, you see the law enforcement coming and you hit the certain sequence, which on the iPhone I think now is hitting the power button, is it 5 or 6 times? And Android, there's another one as well. Then it will return the phone to a before first use state, and it makes extracting the data infinitely harder, if not impossible. And that will require the passkey. So that's really what's going on here. And this raises some questions because, one of the things we need to consider is that Signal provides the encryption for WhatsApp. A Facebook company. And there's been a lot of talk back and forth, a lot of conjecture that Signal is funded. In fact, they say, well, Signal was funded by government. Well, Tor was also funded by the government, and the government still has no idea how to break into that thing. The best you can do on Tor is controlling the entry and the exit node and make good logical guesses about the node in the middle. And so just because the government funded the project doesn't make me go, ooh, it's got a back door in it. I want to see some other things. But the fact they were able to extract encrypted data from an AFU iPhone and then decrypt the data, that does indeed raise some questions about what they have in Signal. So with that, if you want to help support the channel, have a look at our affiliates. Today we are talking about ExpressVPN. Ooh, let me move my head out of the way. All right. ExpressVPN, this is one of the better VPNs that we have. And you can connect up to 5 devices, including a router. You can secure your entire home network with one connection on your router if you so desire. You can also set certain devices to bypass the VPN if you need to as well. And we have locations all around the world. You can go ahead and set the geolocation that you would like your IP address to come from. I did actually, somebody did leave me a comment that I think Cox Internet is starting to block some VPNs. So be aware of that. But nevertheless, have a look over here. Use my affiliate link there, tlm.li/EV. And that will get you over onto our page. You can try this guy out for $100 for a year of VPN service. Well, let's go ahead and have a brief look at some security news as well. First in security, prosecutor charges former phone company employee in SIM swap scheme. Once again, guys, this is why I don't like to give any data at all. Only the minimum amount I need to do the service. Why? Even if the company's got the greatest privacy policy in the world, they might have a creepy guy. But would you rather have the creepy guy watching you on your security cameras in ADT, or would you rather have them selling the hackers your SIM cards? So this guy was actually paid about $2,000. He got gypped. $2,000 between October and November in 2018. And basically the guy was giving him a few targeted phone numbers that he wanted, and he knew that these people were securing Bitcoin wallets with a phone number. So the hacker paid a few $1,000s to the, I believe this might have been AT&T, I think. Whoever it was, I forget the exact cell carrier, but he paid the cell carrier to get him access. So the cell carrier then would mail the guy a new SIM card with the password and the phone number. The guy would just pop that guy in, update the phone number, and then he was able to break into the cryptocurrency wallets. Now, he targeted specific people that he knew had a lot of access to cryptocurrencies. And so that's kind of how this one went. So just yet another requirement there that even if the company is the best company in the world, if they have your data, the question is, can you trust the employees with that data as well? Microsoft Edge Extension Store is the dumpster fire that Microsoft stores have always been. This is like, I had a Windows phone way back in the day. I actually had a Windows phone. I thought the UI was one of the best. But you get into the store, and I don't think there was any American developer on that thing. It was like all Chinese backdoors, and it was poorly written apps and stuff like that. Are we surprised to see anything else in Microsoft's Edge Extension Store? It's hosting illicit copies of Sonic and Mario Kart 64. I wonder if that's the one Biden was playing with his granddaughter, right? He played Luigi with his granddaughter. I mean, that's the type of fluff stuff they write about him, you know. But anyway, Microsoft Edge Extension Store was hosting likely illegal copies of a number of iconic games, including Mario Kart, Super Mario Brothers, Sonic the Hedgehog, Pac-Man, Tetris, Cut the Rope, even Microsoft smash hit Minecraft. Developers listed on the titles weren't Microsoft, Nintendo, or any other recognized game developer, meaning that they almost certainly aren't official copies of the game. So there we have it, guys. You get your brand new Edge, you're like, let's find some extensions, and they're pretty much all malware. So be careful of that, guys. Yeah, I really bet here that Ukes is the official developer of Super Mario Brothers. I really bet that. Game Triangle. With this extension, you can play Sonic the Hedgehog directly from your Edge browser. All you have to do is add the Sonic Hedgehog, click on the icon at the top of your browser and open it up, and have endless fun. Yay! There we are. So there we have it, guys. There we have it. Just got to be careful with that. I bet that those are completely full of malware. So have fun. And finally, the Apple M1 Mac is brand stinking new, and it got, a good 3 chapters into the world, and then all hell broke loose and malware entered into it. So we do have our official native M1 malware, and This is Go Search 22. This is one that evades detection attempts, hides itself, reinstalls itself, and gives you endless fun of clicking closed ads that will appear all over your computer. So just be aware of that, guys. We already have malware showing up in the brand new Macs. Is that a reason that they suck? No, of course not. Hey, if we only have one so far, that's better than any other operating system so far. Just be aware it exists, so take appropriate steps. If you'd like to help support the channel, I do have a Subscribestar page, subscribestar.com/switchedtolinux. You can head on over there and help support the channel. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM. or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.